This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. The number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise in the Hoosier State. We're breaking down the numbers this morning.
My frustration comes because if it's happened to my mom, it's happening to a lot of people, and people need their money now.
And many Hoosiers have been left jobless due to the coronavirus pandemic. Working for you this morning, we take a look at what the state is doing to ease the burden.
Plus, the COVID-19 outbreak is having a big impact on the 2020 census. How a local effort is adapting its strategy to make sure every Hoosier is counted.
Here's how you can make your own face covering in a few easy steps with items you can find around the house.
And the CDC now recommending that people wear face masks in public places. See the step-by-step instructions from U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams.
All right, it is 6 o'clock here on Monday, April 6th. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Raphael, good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez from my living room as we practice social distancing, right, because of COVID-19. Of course, the birds are chirping here in Johnson County, which means that they're praising Todd Clausen's amazing Monday morning forecast. Todd?
Yeah, Rafael, it's going to be a great spring day for us after a little bit of a cooler Sunday with the clouds. We get the sunshine back today, and temperatures will be probably about 10 to 15 degrees warmer, depending on where you are today compared to yesterday. Now, one little minor hiccup this morning for just some of you, and that's a little bit of patchy fog that has settled in across parts of the area. It's mainly to the north and also off to the west of Indianapolis that this visibility has been reduced. Not an issue here in the metro area, and points off towards the south and east. With the fog comes a pretty big temperature spread, and that's one of the reasons why this fog has settled in. Where the temperatures are cooler in the 30s, that's where the fog is present. Where temperatures are a little bit warmer due to a little more in the way of cloud cover near 51, that's down in the Bedford area. No visibility issues. So just be a little careful if you do have to get on the roadways this morning. Once the sun comes up, we'll burn this fog off if you even have it in your neighborhood very, very quickly. And then we're just left with a mixture of sun and clouds. Notice the temperature jump already up into the mid-50s with partly cloudy skies. By the time we get to the noon hour, we end in the mid-60s today. 70s return tomorrow, but so does the chance for some rain. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. But right now at 6:02, let's get another look at the roadways with Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look out in Hendricks County, I-70 here, a little east of State Road 267. Here you can see traffic moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No delays to slow you down. We do have some scheduled road work in this area starting around 9 o'clock tonight that should last, and we'll keep you updated if there are any delays tomorrow morning. But right now you can see all lanes are open. No issues to slow you down. Well, 1 month ago today, the Indiana State Department of Health reported the first case of COVID-19 in the state of Indiana. This morning, there are more than 4,000 positive cases across our state. More than 1,700 of those are right here in Marion County. So far, more than 22,000 people have been tested. ISDH is reporting 127 deaths related to COVID-19. But we want you to know there is good news this morning. The number of new deaths being reported daily has decreased over the past few days. We expect another update from the state later this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Numbers are also climbing when it comes to unemployment. Last week, 146,000 Hoosiers applied for assistance through the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. Our Alyssa Donovan joins us this morning and explains what's being done to handle this influx. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So state leaders are aware that there are issues getting through to the Indiana Department of Workforce Development, especially through to the unemployment office. They have added additional staff members, but people say they are still struggling to make contact with the right people and get the answers they need. We spoke to one man, his name is Joe Bushman, and he says he's worried about how his family will get through the coronavirus pandemic, especially his parents. His mother's name is Marge, and she's a hairdresser of 40 years, and she was recently laid off. Bushman says when his mom applied for unemployment online, she had a roadblock after selecting laid off or lack of hours as her reason for needing unemployment. When she called the office, she was put on hold for more than 2 hours, and then she was told someone would reach out to her in 3 weeks to let her know what the issue is and how to move forward.
My frustration comes because if it's happened to my mom, it's happening to a lot of people, and people need their money now, and they've got to find a way to streamline this. I get the system's being overwhelmed, but it doesn't help put food on the table.
And Bushman says his mother is on a fixed income and she cannot wait 3 weeks to start collecting unemployment. Staffers at the unemployment office received about 210 interactions via phone calls last week, and the unemployment office staff members say that they are expecting to continue receiving that high amount as they move forward. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you for those numbers. Our team coverage now continues live here from our Johnson County studio. Hoosiers by the thousands, as you heard from Alyssa, are looking for a hand up to deal with this pandemic. Our Hiring Hoosiers effort here at RTV6 is focused now on the unemployment process to make sure you get what you need. Today, we also speak to one couple who has been facing 3 separate storms: COVID-19, unemployment, and a tornado, all in 1 week. The tornado left behind significant damage throughout Christina Shipley's home in Newburgh.
You could hear everything hitting the roof, and you could hear things flying around.
This happened on Saturday, March the 28th. The day before, Christina, a nurse, was overcome by symptoms of COVID-19.
It's nothing like I've experienced. And even in my medical training, it's not playing by the rules, so that's really frustrating. And I'm an asthmatic, so I'm an at-risk person in the first place.
So while her home was battered by that tornado, she had to ride out the storm isolated from her fiancé, Ben Hendricks, who was down the hallway.
Couldn't hold his hand during the tornado.
Christina and Ben remain separated in their home. Both are now also weathering yet another storm, waiting for their individual unemployment claim to be processed.
I'd say get some more people that are able to answer the phones, communication with a live human being on the phones to walk you through, they can pull up your information and stuff like that and immediately address, add some comfort.
I would communicate better. I would write more. I would say, yes, we are overwhelmed right now, but something to comfort people more.
We also connected via FaceTime with Fred Payne, Commissioner of the Department of Workforce Development. It's the agency which oversees unemployment benefits statewide.
If they've provided us with all of the information that they need to provide us, that we will get back to them as quickly as possible. If they've not heard from us that there's a problem with their claim, they can assume that their claim is moving along the process as it should be.
Workforce Development is adding more people today to the claims process with the goal of getting those dollars into the hands of Hoosiers.
The normal process would be 21 days. We've been checking our system for the past 2 weeks, and the claims are getting through and being processed at that steady rate of speed.
While Christina and Ben wait on the process, they look forward to being in the same room, sharing in their love and laughter. It's what they like to do together. The Department of Workforce Development is adding about 77 people to help with the claims. Out of the 77, about 12, Lauren, will start today.
And Raphael, we know the federal government, they're offering workers that additional $600 for a weekly payment to anyone impacted by this. But what's the timeline for ordinary Hoosiers?
Well, the feds just released the guidelines to the states just on Saturday, so the states are all working to figure this out. We do know one thing, that the payments, those extra $600 weekly, will end before July the 31st. I did reach out to Workforce Development, and they're working to get us more details as to when those payments will begin. We'll keep you updated.
Raphael, everyone working hard there. Thank you so much. Beginning today, some BMV locations in Indiana will be open to process commercial driver's license and permits. This is to help with the increase of new licensed commercial truck drivers who deliver essential goods and supplies. 6 locations across the state will be open, including the Indianapolis location that's on Crawfordsville Road. Appointments are required and they're available Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Transactions are only for commercial learners permits and commercial driver's license. More information can be found at the BMV website. Indianapolis Power and Light Company is joining Governor Holcomb's hashtag In This Together campaign by highlighting Hoosier heroes through its window lights displays. IMPD officers, healthcare workers, and service industry employees and firefighters and EMTs, they're all going to be recognized this week. IPL has partnered with Downtown Indy Inc. to use its window displays to promote togetherness and awareness during the coronavirus pandemic. They're encouraging you to join in by sharing photos of the window lights in your home on social media using the hashtag #InThisTogether and tagging IPL Power. Raphael?
On this Monday, so much more to come on Good Morning Indiana. Officials concerned about the census as the coronavirus continues to put a strain on their plans. How one local organization is adjusting to make sure that everyone is counted.
And with most sports seasons postponed and canceled, ESPN is getting creative with some new competitions. Still ahead, the games the network is reportedly planning with the NBA. Todd.
And this morning we're dealing with a little bit of patchy fog across parts of the area. If you walk out the door, you'll notice kind of a damp feel. But the good news is, even if your visibilities are reduced a little bit this morning, once the sun comes up, it'll burn the fog off, and it turns into a very nice Monday weather-wise for us. We'll share all the good details for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:10.
You want the way you want at TomWood.com.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:13. Here's a live look right now at I-70 near State Road 39, the Monrovia area, 2 hour west. You can see a little bit of that fog. Todd Clausen has been warning you about this a little bit this morning, so use caution. Use those low beam headlights if this is part of your drive this Monday morning.
Lauren, it is the year to be counted, but as you know, the coronavirus is making things much more complicated. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us this morning with one effort to make sure the census counts this year. Kelsey, good morning.
A lot of things right now have been canceled or delayed, but one thing that hasn't is the 2020 census count. And Count Me Indy wants to make sure you don't forget to respond. Count Me Indy is a campaign working to make sure every Hoosier responds to the 2020 census. Their original plan was to host events at local libraries to encourage people without internet access to self-respond online. But now with social distancing, their plans have to change. Callie Kennington tells me they are going to turn to online advertising and putting information on self-responding in food packages. She says the Census Bureau has delayed some of their operations.
They are extending the self-response period, which is what we're really concerned about. It was originally through July, and now people have until the end of August to complete their census.
Kennington says they have also delayed follow-ups from census workers, but regardless of the pandemic, the numbers are still due on the president's desk by the end of the year. Your response is confidential for 72 years, and you can self-respond right now by visiting 2020census.gov. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
The time now is 6:15. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The CDC is now recommending voluntary use of face coverings. And here are the details on this. Health officials stress they don't want people rushing out to get medical or surgical masks. Those, they say, should be reserved for healthcare workers on the front lines. Instead, you can make your own mask from items around your home, including scarves, hand towels, or even old T-shirts. U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams shared this video on how it can be done.
Fold it to the middle from the bottom. Fold it to the middle from the top. Fold it again to the middle from the bottom, and again from the top. And then 2 rubber bands. One on one side and one on the other side. Then you fold either side to the middle and you have yourself cloth face covering.
Adams says the face covering should be worn in public places like grocery stores where social distancing can be difficult to follow. But here's the key thing. He stresses that this is not a substitute for for social distancing.
Well, Disney is making sure that annual pass holders don't have to pay while the U.S. theme parks are closed due to the coronavirus. The company is offering two options for people who paid up front for their passes. You can either get a refund for the days that the parks are closed, or Disney will extend the expiration date of your passes to make up for that missed period. People who pay monthly won't be charged while the parks are closed. They'll also get refunds for any payments made after the shutdowns.
So have you heard about this? Amazon's annual Prime Day sale may be postponed. USA Today and Vice News report obtained Amazon meeting notes. Now, in those notes, Amazon's general counsel allegedly says that the Member Reward Day will be pushed back from July to August. Right now, Amazon is getting slammed with orders as people stay home during this pandemic. The company has been trying to hire 100,000 more workers to meet that demand.
United and Delta Airlines are giving customers more flexibility for rebooking flights because of the pandemic. United says customers can now use travel credits within a 2-year window. They usually only have to do so for a year. Delta is making a similar move. Travelers can change to other flights within a 2-year span, but Delta's offering is for April and May flights that were booked before April 3rd. The time right now is 6:17. Todd, we saw a little bit of that fog on one of our cameras this morning. What's it looking like out there?
Yeah, you know, it's very patchy, Lauren, here, the fog this morning. It's not widespread for us across the area. And you notice visibilities here, Kokomo down below 1 mile, Crawfordsville 3/10 of a mile. We're at 1.5 miles in Florida, but then you get down in the Fishers area and there's virtually no fog at all. We'll slide a little further down to the south. That camera we showed you at State Road 39 there in I-70, just west of downtown Indianapolis, and you can see you're just kind of getting into the fog there. You get to Cloverdale and it's down to 0.7 of a mile, and then boom, all of a sudden you're out of it by the time you get to Terre Haute. So especially if you're traveling on the interstates where you're at a higher rate of speed, if you do have to go out, just know that these visibilities can change rather quickly when you're going at 65, 70 miles per hour compared to 35 on a city street. Here's downtown off to the north, and you notice there's no visibility issues here. The temperature sits at 42 degrees. The wind is calm. Sunrise at 7:21. Once that sun comes up, it should burn the fog off very, very quickly. What we have going on is a warm front that is currently down across southern portions of central Indiana. You notice the difference in Bloomington to Bedford, 43 to 51 degrees. This warm front will move north throughout the day today, and it will take the warmer temperatures with it. So it turns into a very mild day for us with above normal temperatures. Just got to be a little bit patient here this morning for some of that moisture and the patchy fog to burn off. We should be in the mid-50s by the noon hour, mid-60s for your afternoon highs with partly cloudy skies off and on throughout the day today. But that warm front that I mentioned, that's going to be a key player in some storms later on tonight, overnight. That warm front by tonight will be across northern portions of central Indiana, and that's where the best chance for some storms are going to be. However, those storms do not arrive until after midnight. So this evening, if you do have plans, sunset is at 8:15. Temperatures will be in the 60s. It's going to be nice and mild. But look what happens overnight with that placement of the warm front across northern parts of the state. That's where the storms are going to move through early tomorrow morning. While we're here with you on Good Morning Indiana, make sure you tune in. Some of these storms could be severe, with wind being the main threat. The further south you are tomorrow morning, at least, less likely the chance of seeing the storms. And then the rest of tomorrow is going to be decent with partly cloudy skies, only for another round of storms to come in Wednesday morning. And it's Wednesday morning that I think there's probably the better potential for more widespread strong to severe weather, with wind and hail being the two main threats. Once that front goes through, it's cooler but drier for the end of the week. Then as we get into Easter weekend, we do bring some scattered showers. Lauren, back into the forecast.
Todd, thank you so much. Here is a live look right now. Traffic on I-65 up at the Lebanon Rest area, and you can see some of that patchy fog Todd was mentioning here on our screen. Traffic is pretty light though this morning, and that is the good news. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on any issues for your morning commute. Former Indiana Fever player Tamika Catchings just scored another high honor. She'll be inducted into the 2020 class of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Catchings played 15 seasons with the Fever, and she led the team to the 2012 WNBA championship. Catchings was elected to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame back in February. She currently works as the Fever's general manager and vice president of basketball operations. The induction ceremony takes place on August 29th in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Tamika is an amazing athlete and person here in our city. Speaking of basketball, ESPN and the NBA are reportedly working together to find a new competition to fill the void now that the NBA season has been suspended indefinitely. So here's what they have in mind. According to one network official, the sports channel will air a televised horse competition among several high-profile players. Players would trade trick shots virtually from their private home gyms or another place from where they could safely compete. Now, the idea is just the latest creative endeavor as ESPN looks to fill all of those hours of its programming. On Friday, the network began broadcasting a players-only tournament of NBA 2K. That runs through April the 11th. Still to come on Good Morning Indiana, with millions of Americans filing for unemployment, one group is having even more issues with their claims. What states recommend hairstylists and other gig workers do if they hit some serious roadblocks. That story and much more coming up next, right here on RTV6.
Are shipped directly from a U.S. warehouse.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:24, and it's time to talk about what is trending at 6. Raphael, we know that social distancing is so important, and that's why you're all the way down in Johnson County. So we're more than 6 feet apart, right? But sometimes it's really hard to visualize
we're 20
what
miles
that
apart,
is.
Lauren. We're 20 miles apart.
Okay, that's the exact number. But of Florida County, they're using something familiar to remind people to maintain the proper social distancing. Leon County released this visual aid for residents. It shows 6 feet apart is about the length of an alligator. Officials note it should be a large alligator. Other ways to remember the minimum length for social distancing, well, it's about the size of a sedan, a sofa, or 2 golden retrievers. So there you go.
Listen, we have some cows and maybe some llamas and horses in Johnson County, but we'll keep those alligators to Florida. How about that?
Yes, I agree.
They can keep that. So listen, hey, Jane Fonda is bringing back her iconic workout routines. In a TikTok video, the 82-year-old actress and activist jokingly asked younger viewers to Google her before getting into a side plank and doing some leg raises. She then turned her attention to the environment, urging fans to join the virtual Fire Drill Fridays movement to raise climate crisis awareness. Fonda was arrested weekly last fall while protesting on Capitol Hill.
All right, well, a Detroit man's act of kindness is inspiring others. Al Marshall camped out at the Exxon station near Detroit Medical Center last week, holding this sign. It read, "Free gas for nurses." He ended up giving away $900 worth of gas to more than 50 nurses. Word of Marshall's good deeds spread, inspiring another resident to join the cause. She then donated $200 worth of gas and even pumped it for some of the nurses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very generous, and it's great to see lots of good deeds out there. A lot of things kind of brightening our days, and Todd Clausen has a forecast that I think today will brighten everyone's spirits.
Yeah, you know, it's a day to get out and about. There's a little bit of patchy fog this morning, but that burns off very quickly once the sun comes up. And by this afternoon, skies are partly cloudy. Your noontime temperature up to 55 degrees. Our normal high this time of year is now 60. And look at this, your high temperatures this afternoon, everybody will be above that 60-degree threshold. 65 in Peru, 66 in Indianapolis. Many locations to the west and to the south will get close to 70 degrees. So it's a great day. It's a dry day for us. No threat of any rainfall today. However, overnight tonight, there will be the chance for some stronger storms to roll through. We'll talk about who could see those. It's not for everybody tomorrow morning. And then we'll talk about a better potential for severe weather as we get into Wednesday morning as well. It's all coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes, Raphael.
Todd, thank you so much. 6 million Americans filed for unemployment last week, and those are some tough numbers to look at. Among the many part-time, independent, and gig workers hoping for the first time to get unemployment. Our consumer reporter John Matteries on what you need to know so you don't waste your money.
Hairdressers, gig drivers, landscapers, and other independent contractors normally don't qualify for unemployment benefits. But these aren't normal times, and if you're out of work, you should soon be able to receive some benefits. Laura Grant, like so many people on furlough right now, is desperately trying to reach the state unemployment hotline.
Currently, we are experiencing a high call volume.
Laura manages a 6-person hair salon that has been forced to close. She and her stylists have had no luck getting unemployment benefits as they all work for themselves.
And then it said in your employer section, who's your employer, and I put self-employed. So it obviously denied me.
President Trump and state leaders have announced that the upcoming stimulus will provide benefits for self-employed and gig workers. Stylists here are praying it happens.
Most of my stylists here did that, but heard nothing. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't had any income.
Like independent contractors everywhere, Laura and her stylist are hoping they get unemployment benefits in the next few weeks. But until that happens, they say there's bills to pay and no money coming in.
But we all have car payments. There's so many of us that, we have a couple of single moms that work here as well. So we're all just kind of up in the air and we don't really know what to do.
Laura hopes the promises are true, living by this message in her lobby that says, think positive and positive things will happen. So if you're an independent contractor, go to the state's unemployment site and file for benefits. Hopefully you'll see something soon that we don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Monday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. This morning, police are busy looking into what was a violent weekend between midnight Saturday and this morning. Officers in downtown Indy responded to 8 shootings. The violence left 3 people dead. We have more on the violence right now at the IndyChannel.com and the RTV6 mobile app. If you have any information on the shootings that could help police, call Crime Stoppers. A warning from Call 6 Investigates now this morning. If you're expecting a stimulus check from the federal government, scammers would love to get their hands on that as well. The Federal Trade Commission says you do not have to sign up for a relief check. Do not click on any links asking for your personal information. No one has early access to the money. The FTC says funds will start going out in the next few weeks. Colts owner Jim Irsay says he'll donate some much-needed equipment to help healthcare workers. Irsay says he's obtained more than 10,000 N95 masks, and he plans to give them to the Indiana State Department of Health. Last month, Irsay gave $1 million to Gleaner's Food Bank if an additional $200,000 could be raised from other donors. It is Monday, April 6th here. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez here in our live studio in Johnson County as we continue to practice some social distancing. And by the way, Todd, as you know, the flowers change every day here at the Johnson County set. Behind me, some yellow tulips to inspire you to give us more sunshine. Todd, can you deliver?
I can deliver. That is the good news, at least today, Raphael. Not only is it going to be sunny, but it's going to be nice and mild once again as temperatures will get back above normal. Now, for some of you, you are dealing with a little bit of patchy fog this morning, and it's pretty dense in spots. And Lauren will show you the traffic camera. I can see it up there over at State Road 39 and I-70 in just a second. So it's not widespread, but where the fog has settled in, it's pretty dense. So that'll burn off pretty quickly once the sun comes up. If you do have to venture out on the roadways, just know that it's out there, and just know that you need to slow down a little bit. Temperatures will hold pretty steady this morning until the sun comes up in the 40s. But once the sun does come over the horizon, we get rid of that fog. Temperatures will start to moderate pretty quickly, and we have a dry day for us across the area. The clouds you see down to our south, that's a warm front. That warm front moves north throughout the day, and look what it does to the temperatures. After a little bit of a cooler day yesterday where we took a step backwards, we're back into the mid to upper 60s. Anywhere you go across central Indiana, should be a nice Monday forecast. Late tonight into tomorrow morning, no storms arrive. More on that coming up, Lauren, in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look outside right now. I-70 near State Road 39, the Monrovia area. You can see there from the headlights and that arrow board on your screen that we do have a little bit of fog out that way. Looks like traffic is still getting by just fine in both directions of I-70. We'll continue to keep our eyes on your roads, but use those low beam headlights if you do encounter fog this morning. It is 6:32. This morning we are breaking down the very latest data surrounding COVID-19 from the Indiana State Department of Health. There are now more than 4,400 confirmed cases in Indiana. That's up from 3,900 cases on Saturday and 3,400 reported cases on Friday. More than 22,000 people have been tested so far. Now we're going to take a look at the number of new deaths reported over the last 3 days. We saw some promising news over the weekend. The number of new deaths have fallen by more than half since Friday. We expect the latest numbers from the health department at 10 o'clock this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated.
And now a word of caution this morning regarding those numbers regarding coronavirus and the numbers being reported around the country. Reports of COVID-19 cases and deaths will lag behind when they actually happen. And that word is coming from the top guy who oversees this. On Sunday, the country's top coronavirus expert also reminded the public that the actual number of people with the virus could be up to 50% higher than the number of cases released publicly. Dr. Anthony Fauci says that his estimate of the number of people who may have the virus but may have not tested since they are not showing the symptoms. So even if we see some numbers going down for now, the doctor says they will likely increase dramatically this week.
But that's what's going to happen before it turns around. So we just buckle down, continue to mitigate, continue to do the physical separation, because we got to get through this week that's coming up, because it is going to be a bad week.
The New York Times also reported over the weekend the number of deaths across the country from coronavirus is likely much higher than reported. The report highlights the inconsistent protocols for reporting virus infections between the various states.
Another number continuing to rise is the amount of Hoosiers who are applying for unemployment. Some people are struggling to file as the system is just overwhelmed with calls. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, we know there's some efforts underway to fix these problems.
That's right, Lauren. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development has added nearly 80 staffers to their department to handle this influx. They've also implemented some new processes so you can file unemployment online as well as over the phone. But despite those efforts, some people are still struggling to get through and talk to the people they need to about their unemployment status. We spoke to one man who says the system still needs some ironing out. Joe Bushman's mother, Marge, was laid off from her job as a hairdresser. She applied for unemployment online, but she encountered an issue, so she called the office. Marge was put on hold for 2 hours. Then she was told someone would get back to her about the problem in about 3 weeks. Bushman says he's concerned about his mom since she's on a fixed income. He knows she's one of many trying to navigate unemployment right now.
My frustration comes because if it's happened to my mom, it's happening to a lot of people, and people need their money now, and they've got to find a way to streamline this. I get the system's being overwhelmed, but it doesn't help put food on the table.
And just last week, more than 146,000 Hoosiers applied for unemployment. That number is the highest week of claims in Indiana since December of 2009. That number back in 2009 was only 28,000. So a major increase in unemployment numbers last week. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
There have been dozens of complaints about excessive pricing statewide involving essential items like toilet paper. This weekend, I spent it dealing with an Anderson company who was selling items at questionable prices. Here's what you can do. So a lot's going on. If you think you're the victim of price gouging, you need to report it immediately to the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General. That number is 1-800-382-5516. I bring this up because today I received another email from a viewer in Madison County regarding a store known as Treasure Point. Here's a screen grab showing that this store is selling toilet paper for $1.99 a roll. Yet again, I reached out to the owner of the store, Thomas Hubbard, and this is what he has to say right now.
We had a program that was auto-scheduling ads, right? And so some of these ads have been placed. I'm worried there's stuff on there right now that we can't get down. That's one of the number one things.
I asked Mr. Hubbard if he was traveling to other stores in Madison County, taking their product and then reselling it at a higher price. This is what he had to say.
I have bought stuff, but nothing, I never buy over the limit, but I didn't realize that was a problem. And if you think that I can't, then I won't. But really, I've just been trying,
Sir, the question is that people are asking is that they can't buy the products themselves at the original store price. They feel that you are going to other stores in Madison County, stocking up on those products, and then you are overcharging them. That's the accusation.
Absolutely, and honestly, this all happened so fast. And when this first happened, I didn't realize that you could. I was just buying stuff because it was
So I'll let you determine whether you think this is right or wrong. But in the end, the call to action is very simple. Call the AG Consumer Protection Hotline. That number is 1-800-382-5516. Keep that number handy. Now, the best way to file your complaint, of course, keep that receipt or take a picture of the item. Provide the Attorney General's office with some proof of the gouging complaint. You may recall that after the terrorist attacks of 9/11, the Attorney General's office forced a number of gas stations to make refunds because they overpriced Hoosiers during that incident. Again, complain so that the state can take some action. Lauren?
Great advice, Raphael. Well, Count Me Indy is an effort to make sure that everyone here in Marion County is counted in this year's census. Coming up, we're taking a look at how they're adapting due to the coronavirus pandemic. Time right now is 6:39. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:42. In the middle of this pandemic, one local group wants to remind you that the 2020 census really does matter. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us right now with what the group wants to do to make sure that the census counts this year. Kelsey, good morning.
A lot of things right now have been canceled or delayed, but one thing that hasn't is the 2020 census count. And Count Me Indy wants to make sure you don't forget to respond. Count Me Indy is a campaign working to make sure every Hoosier responds to the 2020 census. Their original plan was to host events at local libraries to encourage people without internet access to self-respond online. But now, with social distancing, their plans have to change. Callie Kennington tells me they are going to turn to online advertisement and putting information on self-responding in food packages. She says this pandemic is showing us just how important this count is.
Because we're seeing that in real time, why federal funding and the allocation of that is going to be so important for our community, right? And so for every person that we count in Indianapolis and Marion County, essentially up to $30,000 will come into our city over the next decade.
She says the Census Bureau has delayed some of their operations. You can now self-respond through August, and census workers won't be knocking on your door as soon as they thought. But regardless of the pandemic, the numbers are still due by the end of the year. Your response is confidential for 72 years, and you can self-respond right now by visiting 2020census.gov. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Well, this is supposed to be a special time for high school students, and prom season helps sustain some small businesses for the entire year. So up next, how one family-owned business is working through the reality of possibly not having any proms to prepare for this school year. Todd.
And Lauren, today's a very nice day. It's dry through the daytime hours with temperatures above normal, but overnight tonight, a marginal risk of severe weather enters the northern portion of central Indiana, and then early Wednesday morning, it's a slight risk for almost the entire state. We'll detail the severe threat for you coming up in the coming days when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:44. Stay with us. We're back in just a few minutes.
Live on CourtTV.com.
Welcome back. Small businesses are really feeling the squeeze during these unprecedented times, especially those who rely mostly on business transactions during the spring months. That's especially true for one family-owned boutique up in Carmel that typically sells thousands of formal gowns this time of year for the prom season. We talked with the owner about what this means for her family, her employees, and also high school students who may miss making some special memories.
In the pocket.
Allison McDaniel pours her heart into her work. Her work is helping teens feel confident and beautiful and excited to make memories at high school proms across central Indiana. McDaniel started Raylan's Boutique 12 seasons ago in Greenwood. Now in Carmel, the floors of the store, normally busy with shoppers in the spring, sits empty due to COVID-19.
I'm that seasonal, so right now, closing our doors and not making any money, it's been incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard for us small businesses.
McDaniel has been in the industry since the 90s and has never missed a prom season. But as schools remain closed, many students are left wondering if they'll even get to go to the prom. So far, Raylan's has sold hundreds of dresses, and the nature of formal gowns means nationwide, those sales are typically final sale. But hundreds remain in layaway, and hundreds of thousands of dollars of merchandise is left sitting on the sales floor in preparation for a prom season that may never come.
Oh my goodness, my heart. Well, first off, you know, I have employees that need to pay for, and my Raylan's family is my heart. It's with these girls that I've been able to do this for the past 12 seasons, and so I have staff that are, you know, paying back school loans, that are the first time out, you know, paying to have apartment to pay for. I have high schoolers that are saving for college that work for me, and so for that it's hard. And I'm a mom too.
The sales McDaniel projected to make these spring months normally helps to carry her business through the year. The boutique is not only a business, it's a passion project, and she hopes kids will still get to be kids and make those special memories together when this is past us.
To wear the dress, to be a kid, to create their own prom, do something fun, take their picture, go out for dinner, you know, make this memory.
But for now,
continue to shop local, whether it's me or your favorite bookstore or your favorite restaurant, those small businesses that have given back to you, your communities, your own children.
McDaniel tells us that Raylan's continues to remain open online. They also have gift cards available and boutique clothing on sale on their website. I checked in with her over the weekend, and she tells me she's been inspired by all the parents working to create something special for high school-aged kids when this is all over. Local businesses are putting their heads together, offering to donate time and creativity, and those are stories we'll try to bring you in the coming months. The time right now is 6:49. Let's check in with Todd Clausen and see what we can expect for our Monday forecast.
Yeah, Lauren, I just want to highlight quickly here some patchy dense fog that has settled in to spots in central Indiana. It's not widespread, but a half-mile visibility in Peru, 2/10 of a mile in Crawfordsville, and then just over a mile in the Cloverdale area. These visibilities going to fluctuate a little bit here this morning, but once the sun does come up, we'll burn that fog off, and we'll be left with a nice Monday forecast for us. Temperatures range from 36 right now in Peru to 51 in Bedford right now, so they're warm areas down to our south. That will start to move north throughout the course of the day today as that warm front moves to the north as well. Our featured dog of the day today is Tex-Mex, coming to you from Brown County. Thanks to Christina Taylor for sending Tex-Mex in. Maybe one of your daily walks. You see Tex-Mex there in Brown County. You can say hello, socially distanced hello, but nonetheless you can. Paws will be green today for the good forecast. Temperatures starting in the 40s, ending in the mid-60s. So temperatures moderate all day long and gets us above normal by the afternoon hours. This is the placement of the warm front right now. By this afternoon and into the overnight hours, the placement of the warm front is to the north. That's what gets us above normal. But the reason I point this out is not so much temperature-wise, but it's right along this front, and that's going to kind of act as a highway for some storms late tonight into the overnight hours. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center has the northern third of Indiana under the slight risk for severe weather. The marginal risk tonight goes over to a slight risk as we head into Wednesday morning. The main threat overnight tonight would be damaging wind. The hail and tornado threat is pretty low as these storms will start to roll in. But they'll be making their way through parts of the area most likely tomorrow during Good Morning Indiana in those northern locations before they kind of dive south into Ohio. And they'll move out, and then tomorrow's still a very nice day during the daylight hours. Temperatures tomorrow, the warmest they'll be all week in the mid-70s. But late tomorrow night into Wednesday, the next round of rain comes in. So it's 2 overnight periods tonight and then Tuesday into Wednesday that will have the potential for some strong to severe storms. I think the round on Wednesday morning potentially going to be more widespread and potentially stronger than what we'll see overnight tonight. And then behind the cold front, cooler weather for Thursday and Friday, but plenty of sunshine. Then for Easter weekend, some scattered showers and highs in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at your traffic in the downtown area. This is I-65, a view right now from Fletcher Avenue. You can see some headlights moving across your screen. Traffic still pretty light here through downtown. The good news right now around the metro area, no crashes or delays to slow you down. Well, we know sometimes laughter is the best medicine. Next, a local comedian tries to lighten our mood with a closer look at some face mask fails. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Weekdays from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back. Even during a pandemic, some people are trying to keep their sense of humor to get by. That includes one of our favorite local comedians from right here in Indianapolis.
So Brent Terhune continues to post regularly on his YouTube channel, and in one of his latest videos, he takes a look at some folks that tried some face masks in public that did not go as planned. Take a look.
Why does this lady look like 10 minutes into every birthday party I went to as a kid and as an adult? Why does she look like the original Ronald McDonald? All right, I got some bananas and whoo. Is it me or is it getting lightheaded in here? He's got a bag on his head, he's got bags on his hands, but he's wearing a tank top and shorts. It's like casual Friday pandemic. Go from one bagger to the next. This guy looks like somebody tried to dispose of a body and then it just got up and went shopping.
You can find all of Brent's videos on Twitter at Brent Terhune and at his website, BrentComedy.com.
Pretty funny there. All right, the forecast. That's what a lot of people want to know about, Todd, because they're stuck at home. Maybe the kids are not in school. What can we expect for a Monday?
You know, it's a good forecast today. It's going to be a really nice day for us. There's a little bit of patchy fog here this morning. That'll burn off soon as the sun comes up. And then we'll decrease the clouds, and we're left with partly cloudy skies this afternoon and temperatures in the mid-60s. Some of you even climbing up into the 70s later on this afternoon, especially in southern locations. Get out there and enjoy. Overnight tonight, though, into early Tuesday morning, basically about 24 hours from now, we'll be dealing with a round of thunderstorms, and then more thunderstorms
always on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. Enjoy your Monday.
All right, we are back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and, of course, your traffic updates.
And of course, you heard me practicing what I was going to say, which is we are always on the RTV6 app. Enjoy today's sunrise. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Good Morning America is next right here on RTV6. Have a great day, everybody.